Al Fullerton from Aliom, I guess my question is if we know how managed these results are going to be, with even comments like that saying that they'll let one or two fail just so that we don't get too sceptical. Why are we taking any notice at all?
No, that's right. Look, I mean, in terms of giving credibility by having a bank, not quite hitting the mark, that seems to me a bit bizarre. You want them all to pass because this will alleviate so much of these concerns that have been shrouding Europe. As we spoke about before, perhaps it is more of a somewhat of a, I don't know, maybe not PR stunt, it's not quite correct, term of phrase, but
someone said it's perfectly
well, maybe it is, yeah, it is, but then it is also causing a lot of concerns in the sector, and it's concerning a lot of nervous investors. So it does have its place. It needs to be out of the way. We need to see what happens there. I did note that the Spanish finance minister seemed to have made the comment that all the Spanish banks have actually passed, and that was quickly recalled, and her spokeswoman said that it was taken out of context. But to me, that it doesn't sound like it was out of context. So look, I think that to get it out of the way will be good in terms of just getting rid of that fear that there could be some skeletons in the closet there. And again, we're seeing more and more debt being out from Greece, from Spain, from Ireland, which obviously just they just had a downgrade there, but they managed to get 700 million pounds or euros away the other night. So there's still positives in the sector there, and it'll just be nice to tick that box.
It does all come back to our banks as well. We continue to talk about their funding pressures, and the European sovereign debt crisis has been really at the heart of those worries, and what's pushing things up for them. So in the end, do you see, if these European stress tests comes out and there's some sort of easing of concerns around Europe, that's something that flows through to our banks necessarily? Yes and no. I think, as I said, I think perhaps it'll bring a bit more calm to the sector in a global sense. I think that this is certainly one box to tick, but there are other things. There's the whole Basel side which will be coming through, and that's coming along down the track there. We've obviously still got these reforms going through in the US. So really, the sector which was really blamed for this, to kick off the whole GFC, there will be regulations. We know that. We've already flagged that there could be some funding headwinds going forward for the Aussie banks. Do remember that they are very well capitalised in terms of the retail deposits. At the moment there's a huge amount of cash sitting there, and about 50% of their funding comes from that retail side. So look, they are well capitalised, but then it's unrelenting again. The US obviously now looking at whether or not the Fed pulls that 25 basis point interest rate, and to fire up some spending over there. So banks are certainly going to remain in the spotlight. Al, great to have you on board. Let's quickly take a break. I think we have to do that and get back with some more details with Al. Today, Al Fullerton from Aliom Financial Markets with me in studio. And Al, you've got a few picks in the sector as well. We were talking about the big end of town earlier, BHP. Yep. It's a couple of smaller stocks you like at the moment, though. No, there are. Look, we've been looking at a few players. I think it's just important to note in terms of the time frame that people are looking at. With the smaller end of that small to mid-cap mining space at the moment has been very volatile, and we've seen a lot of day trades going through that. And we see people like Aquarius Platinum obviously gap one day on the back of the regulations over their African money, and then running back up 13% yesterday. So it's really been volatile, and there's been some good opportunities in terms of taking position there, and perhaps looking at some stocks that have been sort of sold down on the rumour and bought back on the fact. I like some of these, again, coke and coal sort of side. I think Riversdale Mining's a very interesting company. They just finished their capital raising there. They're well capitalised to look at their Mozambique coke and coal to just basically speed that process up there, and we've seen a couple of upgrades coming through this week on the back of that. Interesting, you mentioned Paladin. That's another one. There's a lot of obviously noise around the uranium sector, and so a few risks involved with that stock. The gold sector, we've been playing the physical, so actually looking at through synthetics, actually playing the gold and the oil side there, and again, energy sector is another one which I think that in light of all the BP's or the ongoing saga there, and the sale of the $6 billion worth of assets there to Apache from Egypt and North America. So look, that's a sector which we've spoken about. It's been really been hampered by the BP saga, and there are some quite interesting stocks there. Obviously Santos and Oil Search, two of our plays there, and that's on the back of that growing LNG story as well. So. Good stuff, and as you said, you're quite bullish on the China story. We gathered that from today's program. Yes. No, I still am. China's China. They'll always be there. There's no one else like them, and if they want it to work, they'll make it work. Good stuff. Al, it's been great to have you in studio for the program today. I think we're going to catch up with you next week as well, so thank you very much. That's Al Fullerton from Aliom Financial Markets.